Ultra X9 presence explained. What happens when an SUV does not try to impress you, but instead dares you to look away? Before the engine is started, before the doors are opened, before a single feature is explained, the 2026 BMW ALPINA XB9 already tells its story, just by standing still. And if you care about high-performance luxury SUVs, design authority, and machines that feel expensive without shouting, this is where you should subscribe, because what you are about to hear is not surface-level hype. It is presence decoded. So take a second, hit subscribe, and let us break this down properly. The first thing that hits you when you stand in front of the 2026 BMW ALPINA XB9, often referred to as the Ultra X9, is the sheer weight of its presence. This is not a vehicle that tries to win you over with elegance first. It does not soften its edges to be approachable. It confronts you. The nose sits tall, wide, and planted into the ground, like it belongs there permanently. This front end does not feel designed. It feels established, as if it has already earned its space. The massive proportions are immediately clear, but nothing feels excessive. Nothing feels accidental. Every surface carries intent. The front fascia does not look borrowed from a design studio. It looks forged, as if the environment itself shaped it. The grille dominates the entire front view, and it does so unapologetically. Deep, dark, textured, it pulls your attention inward, like a gravitational force. This does not feel like a decorative element. It feels like a gate, something that exists to guard serious power behind it. And this is where ALPINA differs, because this is not theatrical aggression. This is controlled authority. As your eyes move outward, the lighting signature becomes the true storyteller. These LED elements are sharp, focused, and purposeful. They are not here to look futuristic. They are here to look precise. They stretch horizontally, cutting through the bodywork with confidence. The vertical lighting elements add another layer of intent, like visual warning markers, telling everything ahead, move aside, even while parked. This front view carries tension. It feels ready, not eager, but prepared. This is the face of something that knows exactly what it is capable of and does not need to prove it. Now pause for a moment, because this is the kind of design detail people miss. The hood, long, sculpted, and muscular, it rolls forward with purpose, not drama. Subtle creases run across it, like veins beneath skin. They hint at strength, but they do not exaggerate it. And when rain hits the surface, something interesting happens. Every contour becomes sharper. Every curve becomes more defined. The water beads cling to the paint, amplifying the drama instead of dulling it. This is one of those rare designs where weather enhances the presence. Reflections move across the surface, turning the front end into something alive. Not a static object, but a living sculpture. Step back slightly, and the proportions become even clearer. The front overhang is balanced, not heavy, not restrained. The stance is wide, grounded, and confident. The wheels pushed outward give the XB9 a sense of stability that feels unshakable. This is not a luxury SUV pretending to be tough. This is something that looks ready for highways, back roads, and everything in between, without asking permission. And if you're enjoying this level of breakdown, this is your reminder to subscribe, because this channel does not rush. It studies. What makes the front view truly special is the balance, aggression, and refinement. This is where ALPINA magic appears. Quietly, nothing feels chaotic. The angles are sharp, but deliberate. The surfaces are bold, but controlled. There is maturity here, a sense of restraint. It does not scream for attention. It commands it. You do not notice it because it is loud. You notice it because your eyes have no choice but to stop. There is emotional weight to this design. It feels expensive without trying to show it off. It feels powerful without relying on exaggerated tricks. You can imagine pulling up anywhere, and the reaction is immediate. Silence, then stares. Not because it is flashy, but because it feels serious. This looks like a vehicle owned by someone. who knows exactly what they want and does not need validation. The lower front fascia reinforces that message. The air intakes are deep, functional, and carved into the body with purpose. This is not decorative aggression. There is engineering behind every opening, every cut, every line. The splitter sits low, close to the ground, enhancing the feeling that this machine is always ready, always alert. As you stand there longer, the front view begins to feel cinematic. The environment matters. Muted colors, damp ground, natural light. Everything frames the XB9 perfectly. It feels less like a photo and more like a scene, something pulled from a high-end automotive film. And this front view does something important. It does not just introduce the car. It sets expectations. Power, control, authority, confidence, delivered without unnecessary noise. Now as you move toward the rear, the personality shifts, but the intensity remains. The rear view is less confrontational, more deliberate, like a quiet warning. This is the kind of design that stays with you long after you walk away. The taillights stretch across the rear with a clean, modern glow. Sharp, precise. They cut through darkness effortlessly, creating a signature that is unmistakable, even from a distance. The rear stance mirrors the authority of the front, but expresses it differently. Calmer, more composed. The shoulders flare outward subtly, giving the back a muscular look. Without exaggeration, everything feels balanced, intentional. This is not a rear designed only for photo. It is designed to look commanding in motion, at night, in traffic, or parked silently beneath streetlights. The rear glass sits high, clean, and well framed by the roofline. There's a sense of protection here. Like the cabin is wrapped in armor, the roof spoiler adds just enough aggression. Without breaking the elegance, it finishes the silhouette cleanly, reinforcing the idea that every element serves a purpose. Lower down, the rear bumper changes the tone. This is where the performance DNA becomes clear. The diffuser is sculpted, purposeful, and confident. The exhaust outlets are integrated cleanly, not shouting, but impossible to ignore. They communicate strength, restraint, and control. Rain droplets on the rear surface add realism. Texture, they soften reflections, giving the paint depth. Light moves across the rear fenders, making the body feel alive, constantly shifting depending on where you stand. There's a quiet intimidation here, the kind that does not chase attention, but holds it. Imagine this XB9 pulling away from you on a dark road, those tail lights shrinking into the distance. That image stays with you, not just visually, but emotionally. And this is important, because presence is not about noise. It is about memory. What stands out most about the rear is how cohesive it feels with the front. There is no disconnect, no confusión. The design language flows naturally. From nose to tail, everything feels resolved. This is the result of careful thought, experience, and restraint. It feels finished, not experimental. Luxury is communicated quietly here. No unnecessary embellishments. Clean surfaces, confident lines. The stance does the work. Standing behind it, you get the sense that this vehicle is comfortable. Leading and leaving, it looks just as good arriving as it does disappearing. That balance is rare, and this is only half the story. So make sure you are subscribed, because in Prompt 2, we will go deeper into performance character, Alpina philosophy, ownership psychology, and why the XB9 feels different from anything else in its class. This is not just another luxury SUV. It is a statement, and we are only getting started. Does the 2026 BMW ALPINA XB9 still hold your attention? Or does it fall back into the crowd? This is where things get interesting, because this SUV is not built to impress in one moment. It is built to stay with you. And if you are still watching, this is another good moment to subscribe, because this channel focuses on what lasts, not what trends. The moment you begin to understand the XB9, you realize this is not a standard BMW experience. It is an Alpina experience. And that distinction matters. Alpina does not chase numbers. It does not chase lap times. And it does not chase attention. It refines. The XB9 is not designed to feel aggressive. It is designed to feel confident. That confidence shows itself in how it moves, how it responds, and how it carries speed. This is not a vehicle that rushes. It flows. Acceleration does not arrive in a dramatic burst. It arrives smoothly, effortlessly. You feel momentum build, not explode. And that is intentional. Alpina tuning prioritizes composure over theatrics. When power is delivered, it feels controlled, measured, and always available. This SUV does not demand your attention. It rewards it. The steering is precise, but not nervous. It communicates enough without overwhelming you. This is the kind of tuning that reduces fatigue on long drives, because luxury performance is not about intensity. It is about ease. Now consider how this SUV makes you feel, not as a driver, but as an owner, because that is where the XB9 separates itself. Ownership is not about being noticed. It is about satisfaction. The XB9 feels like a vehicle chosen deliberately, not emotionally. It suggests experience, taste, and confidence. This is not a car for someone chasing trends. This is for someone who already knows what they value. And that value is balance. Balance between performance and comfort. Balance between presence and restraint. Balance between luxury and usability. Many SUVs pick a side. The XB9 does not. It lives in the space between, and that space is rare. Inside the cabin, that philosophy continues. Nothing feels overwhelming. Nothing feels excessive. Materials are rich, but not flashy. Controls are intuitive, but not complicated. The environment feels calm, purposeful. You are not distracted. You are settled. This is important, because real luxury does not excite you. It relaxes you. The seating position is commanding, but never dominant. You feel in control, not elevated above others. Visibility is excellent. The cabin feels airy, yet protected. There is a sense of insulation from the outside world. Noise, chaos, urgency, all of it fades. And if you have driven enough luxury SUVs, you know how rare that feeling is. Now think about how this vehicle behaves. In everyday situations, traffic, highway cruising, city streets, this is where the XB9 shines. It does not feel oversized, despite its dimensions. It does not feel heavy, despite its presence. Everything feels well judged. Throttle response is smooth. Transmission shifts are seamless. There is no sense of stress, no sense of effort. It feels like the vehicle is always one step ahead, anticipating rather than reacting. That is the Alpina difference. This is not about sport mode theatrics or aggressive exhaust notes. It is about refinement at speed. You can cover long distances without realizing how quickly time passes, because the XB9 does not drain you. It supports you. This is why it appeals to a specific type of buyer. Someone who travels, someone who drives, someone who values composure. Now, let us talk about presence again, but this time from a distance. Because how a vehicle leaves an impression is just as important as how it arrives. The XB9 does not rely on drama. It relies on proportion. When it pulls away, it does so with quiet authority. No exagerati noise. No unnecessary attention. Just movement. And that movement stays in your mind. This is the kind of SUV you remember seeing, even hours later. Not because it was loud, but because it felt resolved. That sense of resolution is what defines the XB9. Nothing feels unfinished. Nothing feels experimental. Every decision feels deliberate. This is not a product of trend chasing. It is a product of experience, and that experience shows. Now consider the market. Luxury SUVs are everywhere. Many of them shout. Many of them exaggerate. Big grills, aggressive lighting, overstyled interiors. The XB9 does not compete on volume. It competes on clarity. It knows exactly what it is and exactly what it is not. It is not trying to be a sports car. It is not trying to be a limousine. It is something in between. a high-performance luxury SUV that prioritizes comfort, confidence, and control. And that is why it stands apart, because it does not chase everyone. It chooses its audience. This is a vehicle for people who appreciate subtlety, who understand that real luxury is often quiet. And if that resonates with you, you already understand why this SUV matters. Now, imagine living with it, day after day. This is not a vehicle that becomes tiring. It becomes familiar, comfortable, reliable, reassuring. You do not need to adjust to it. It adjusts to you. That is the hallmark of a well-engineered machine. And that is why the XB9 does not need hype. It does not need exaggerated marketing or loud statements. Its presence does the work. Once you experience it, you understand it. And once you understand it, you respect it. That is the difference. So before we wrap this up, let us ask the most important question. Is the 2026 BMW ALPINA XB9 for everyone? No. And that is exactly why it works. It is for those who value balance over noise, substance over trends, and confidence over validation. This is not just another luxury SUV. It is a statement made quietly, and those statements are usually the ones that last. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more content that goes deeper, slower, and smarter, make sure you're subscribed, because this channel does not rush conclusions. It studies machines and explains why they feel the way they do. And if there is one thing the XB9 proves, it is that presence does not need volume. It needs intention. And that is exactly what this SUV delivers.